Marilyn Monroe has been reincarnated and living in Toronto. That is the remarkable claim by a doctor who has just written a book about it called Marilyn Monroe Returns, The Healing of a Soul.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Marilyn Monroe is a Hollywood legend, and more than 40 years after her death, she's still one of the most imitated stars in the world. It seems Marilyn Monroe may actually be alive again.
Hers was a different twist. She said she had lived as Marilyn Monroe.
If you ask psychiatrist Dr. Adrian Finkelstein, he'll tell you Marilyn Monroe has been reincarnated as a nightclub singer from Toronto named Sherry Laird.
I was like, I don't understand why I feel like I am this person.
Sherry Laird tells Showbiz Tonight she always knew she lived another life before, but it wasn't until she connected with Dr. Finkelstein that she became convinced that she has been reincarnated as Marilyn Monroe. Finkelstein says he questioned Laird under hypnosis for 8 years and is convinced that Laird is the real deal.
I've been trained as a psychiatrist to assess human behavior and to recognize somebody that's fake from somebody that's genuine. And the way Sherry came across to me the first time when she approached me in 1998, it was like a troubled psyche seeking relief, not notoriety.
Sherry Laird even claims she remembers details about Marilyn Monroe's rumored affairs with John F. Kennedy and his brother Robert Kennedy.
I've seen the political things, and I've seen who talked more about political things, and I've seen who was better in bed.
Sound hard to believe? Decide for yourself. Check out some of the recorded sessions when Laird is under hypnosis.
And when did you first meet John Kennedy?
This feels like 1954.
Were the two of you ever lovers? And if so, when did you first have sex with him?
In the car. It's a car. Someone is driving.
Does it happen in 1954 or later?
Later.
When was the last time you saw John Kennedy?
First week of June.
What year?
1962. Oh, God. No.
What's happening?
No.
Laird says she was even surprised by her emotional outburst.
I felt like I was going to die, and that helped me that I was screaming. Germ aggression was help me, save me, because she's going to kill me. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like, save Sherry, because I'm going to die here.
That, the doctor says, is just more proof that Laird really is Marilyn Monroe reincarnated.
In that particular situation, she really was so convincing with her pain, with her crying. Was the overdose an accident? Were you murdered?
I'm not murdered.
Neither Laird nor the doctor says they're out to prove their story. They say it's all about healing broken souls.
Reincarnated? Well, it sounds crazy. We're going to be meeting the woman who says she's a former Miss Monroe, and the doctor who says he can prove it. The ultimate sex goddess of the 20th century. Of course, the ultimate sex goddess of the 21st century. But in the 20th century, Marilyn Monroe was the icon of Hollywood glamour until her shocking death at the early age of 36. But now Marilyn's making headlines again. Here's the twist. A Canadian singer thinks she's literally Marilyn Monroe reincarnated, and newspapers like the LA Times are writing about it. With me now is that singer, Sherry Lee Laird, also her psychiatrist. We have Dr. Adrian Finkelstein. He says the research that he's done proves Sherry Lee really was Marilyn Monroe in another life.
世界の映画レポート、ワールドシネマ9。
Behind this wall is the house that the body of Marilyn Monroe was discovered back in 1962, dimming one of the brightest stars that Hollywood has ever known. But is she back? Well, one Malibu psychiatrist seems to think so. He says that Marilyn Monroe has been reincarnated into the body of a 43-year-old Canadian singer.
全米騒然、マリリンが蘇った。
Well, it was in the beginning of September 1998 when I get an email that was quite bizarre, and I didn't know what to make out of it. But then I called her on the phone, and I listened with an open mind to her very sad story. She was haunted at the time by frightening nightmares and flashbacks of having lived as Marilyn Monroe.
Before I met the doctor, I was in and out of thinking, okay, that's crazy, it can't happen. It was a relief to find someone. I said, you know, past lives, suicide and stuff like that. I wanted help for it. And when I found my doctor, I was so relieved.
And why Marilyn?
I don't know. I think it's something that happened to me. You know, she had to go somewhere. It was eventually going to click and hit somebody. It's just my karma that it hit me.
But while I was in Canada, I'd heard about a psychiatrist who turned medical opinion on its head. He believed in reincarnation.
Yeah.
I was heading to Niagara Falls with Dr. Adrian Finkelstein and his patient, Cherie Lee Laird. Since childhood, Cherie had a feeling she'd lived before as a 1950s film star.
A kiss on the hand might be quite continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend. One time I was sitting on my aunt's knee and we were talking about the beauty mark above my lip, and I said I don't like it and I would like to take it off. And my aunt said to me, oh, that's just like Marilyn Monroe. And I was like, who's that? And she started singing A Kiss on the Hand, and that's when I said it was like an echo. Whoa, like it was just a kiss on the hand, went forever, and I was like, what is that? And I really felt like it was singing about me.
Monroe had starred in the film Niagara in the 50s. I wondered if bringing Cherie to the Falls would jog any memories of Marilyn's time here.
There's something about it that makes me feel like from way back, like, yeah, it's very comfortable. Like it's not a big deal, but it's very holiday-ish.
Check this one out.
The thought of being the tragic star haunted Cherie for many years, and she even tried to commit suicide. Out of desperation, she contacted Dr. Finkelstein, who specializes in treating people who believe they're reincarnated.
Really, I want her to be well, and she knows that, and that was what started all this process about 8 years ago. And I'm so happy to see that now she is pursuing her musical career, and she no longer has ideas of suicide. Richard, please come in.
Later that night, I met up with Cherie and the doctor. He was going to hypnotize her.
Look into my eyes.
I'm not sure I believed in reincarnation, but as Dr. Finkelstein placed Cherie in a trance, I felt excited about meeting Marilyn.
Your eyes and eyelids are getting tired and droopy and drowsy and sleepy. They close. Sleep! Beautiful, soft and loose, completely relaxed from head to toe. Are you, or are you not, Marilyn Monroe, Norma Jean?
Yes.
You are.
After a few minutes, Cherie started talking about Marilyn Monroe's lover, Jack Kennedy. It brought back painful memories.
You mentioned Jack and Bobby?
Yes. I'm angry at Jack.
What makes you angry at him?
He's horrible.
And what's happening?
I don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk about it?
Halfway through the regression, Dr. Finkelstein shocked me by suggesting I talk to Marilyn.
Any questions from Richard?
Right. Is it okay if...
Sure.
I was stuck for words. What do you say to the world's most famous sex symbol?
There's a rumour that I've heard, and I didn't know whether you would be able to tell me whether it's true or not, which is that you had a fling with Elvis Presley.
No.
Bring your soul back to your crown chakra.
Dr. Finkelstein brought Cherie out of her trance.
I want you to think about nothing now.
What I'd witnessed had been very impressive, but I didn't know what to make of it.
Gently open your eyes and feel good.
As Cherie came round, it occurred to me, finding out she was Marilyn had saved her life.
Have a nice trip.
All right. Bye.
Maybe everybody I'd met while making this film was simply finding a way to deal with being alive.
You say yes, in other words, you having a friend. That was the time you were also with your brother, was John, or afterward?
Before. There was a time before, yes.
Imagine a lady, that lady, who thinks that she's Marilyn Monroe reincarnated. We're joined from Cleveland by that lady, Cherie Lee Laird. She claims to have been the blonde bombshell in another life, or maybe in this life. I'm a little confused if you're reincarnated or a flashback. I welcome you, though, and we also welcome the doctor who was interviewing you, Adrian Finkelstein, a psychiatrist specializing in past life regression. Okay, but let me ask you, Cherie Lee, do you honestly believe that you are Marilyn reincarnated?
Sure, it's just a really simple thing to me. So
well, tell me why. What do you think? Why have you convinced yourself of this?
Well, I didn't really convince myself of it. I was trying to get rid of it. It was something that happened all my life from childhood up. Being where we were in Canada, we didn't really have much exposure to Marilyn Monroe. So I suffered with this all my life, and I just wanted to get rid of it. And that's why I talked to my doctor. I actually was looking for somebody in Toronto just to hypnotize it out of me.
And Dr. Finkelstein, did you first treat her in Toronto, or have you never... You wrote the foreword to her book, so I assume that was you in the tape, but you were the treating psychiatrist. Do you believe her?
Correct. I think being trained as a psychiatrist and with 30 years of experience in past life regression therapy, she came across to me as a troubled psyche seeking relief, not notoriety. And after many telephone calls and email exchanges, it appeared to me that she's genuine, and I was open to her. Only this story had a different twist.
Okay, now your book is Marilyn Monroe Returns, and I don't want to be a killjoy here, but Dr. Finkelstein, you're MD, psychiatrist. Do you believe that this young lady is Marilyn Monroe redo?
Yeah, I believe now. It took me 8 years to believe that.
And you really believe it, though?
Right now, yes. I didn't believe it in the beginning for a long time, and she didn't believe it. So we ended up, after hundreds of proofs, scientifically, meticulously done under hypnosis, through biometric research, through synchronicity research, my evaluation as a psychiatrist, and so forth, that she is the incarnation of Marilyn Monroe.
Okay, and Cherie, you say you did have the affair with the Kennedy brothers.
Well, under regression, I recall that, yes. As Cherie, I didn't care too much, but I remembered vividly under regression.
And did you really love Joe DiMaggio?
Not really.
No? What?
Well, at first, it seemed perfect at first, but it fell apart very rapidly according to my regressions.
So who do you love now?
In this life? You're kind of cute.
Believe me. I respect.
But I love animals this life.
You can read the whole story in Dr. Finkelstein's book, Marilyn Monroe Returns: The Healing of a Soul.